Hi friend, welcome to the Live Studies channel. So I am going to discuss multi-threading interview question and answer for experienced person. So let's start. My first question is, what is thread scheduler and time slicing? A thread scheduler is the operating system service that allocate the CPU time to available runnable threads. When we create and start a thread, it is executed dependence on the implementation of thread scheduler. Time slicing is the process of dividing the available CPU time to the available runnable threads. Allocated the CPU time to threads can be based on thread priorities, or the thread waiting for longer time will get more priority in a setting getting CPU time. The thread scheduler cannot be controlled by Java, so it is always be better to control from the application itself. Move to the another question. Another question is, what is the context switching in a multi-threading? It's a very most important question. Context switching in a multi-threading means context switching is the process of storing and restoring of the CPU state so that the thread's execution can be resumed from the same point at the later point of the time. Context switching is the essential feature of multitasking operating system and support for multiple thread environment. Move to the another question. Another question is why should check condition for waiting in a how can achieve thread safety in a Java? There are several ways to achieve thread safety in Java, means synchronization, automation, concurrent class, implementation, concurrent lock interface, using volatile keywords, using immutable class, and thread safe class. Okay. Move to the another question. Another question is, why should you check condition for waiting in a loop? It is possible for a waiting thread to receive false alert and spurious walk-off calls if it does not check the waiting condition in loop. It will simply exist even condition is not met. As such, when a waiting thread walk off, it cannot be assumed that the state it was waiting for it is still valid. It may be have been valid in the past, but the state may have been changed after the notify method was called and before the waiting threads walk off. That is why it is always be better to call wait method from loop. You can even create a template for calling wait and notify in a Eclipse. Move to the another question. Another question is how to create daemon thread in a Java. The thread class set daemon thread is in a method is equal to you can pass parameter true can be used to create a daemon thread in a Java. We need to call this method before calling a start method, else it will throw illegal thread state exception. Another question is, what is the thread local? In a Java, thread local is used to create a thread local variable. We know that all threads of an object share its variable, so if the variable is not a thread shape, we can use the synchronization. But if we want to avoid synchronization, we can use thread local variables. Even thread has its own thread local variable, and they can use it get method and set method to get the default value or change it. It is value local to thread. Thread local instance are typically private static field in classes that wish to associate the state with the thread. Move to the another question. Another question is, what is the difference between synchronization and concurrent collection in a Java? Both are synchronization and concurrent collection provide the thread safe collection suitable for multi-threaded and the concurrent access. Later is the more scalable than former. Before Java 1.5, Java program only had synchronized collection, which because source of contention if multiple threads access them concurrently, which hamper scalability of system. Java 5 introduced concurrent collection like concurrent hash map, which which not only provide thread safety but also improve accessibility by using modern technique like lock, springing, and partitioning internal table. Move to the another question. Another question is, what is thread pool or why should you thread pool in a Java? Creating thread is expensive in a term of the time and resource. If you are creating thread at a time of request processing, it will be slow down your response time. Also, there is only a limited number of threads a process can create. So avoid both of these issue a pool of thread in creating when application startup and a thread are reused for request processing. This pool of thread is known as thread pool, and thread are known as worker thread. From JDK 1.5 release, Java API provided executor framework which allow you to create different type of thread pool. For example, single thread pool which process one task at a time, fixed thread pool a pool of fixed number of threads, are cached thread pool, and expandable thread pool suitable for application with many short-lived tasks. Another question is, what is thread group or why it is advised not to be used? It Thread group is a class that was intended to provide information about the thread group. Thread group API is weak and does not have any functionality that is not provided by thread. It has two main features: to get the list of active threads in a thread group, and it is set the uncatch exception handler for the thread. But Java 1.5 added set unchecked exception handler uncatch exception handler method, using which we can add uncatch exception handler to the thread. So thread group is obsolete and hence not advised to be used anyone. Move to the another question. Another question is, how do you avoid use any more? For example, for you can create variable t dot set unchecked exception handler, means create a new unchecked exception handler to override this public void unchecked exception thread to threadable, and you can system.out.print exception occur plus you get message. Move to the another question. Another question is, how do you avoid deadlock in a Java? Very most important question to avoid a Java. Deadlock is a condition in which two threads wait for each other to take action which allow them to more future. It is a serious issue because when it happen, your program hang and does not do the take it task it is intended for. In order of deadlock to happen, following four conditions must be true. First condition is mutual exclusion, hold and wait, no preemption, circular wait. Mutual exclusion: at least one resource must be held in a non-shareable mode. Only one process can use the resource at any given instance of time. Hold and wait: a process is currently hold at least one resource and requesting condition resource which are belonging hold by other process. No preemption: we operating system must not be allocated resource one they have been allocated. They must be released by the holding process voluntarily. Last one is the circular wait: a process must be waiting for a resource which is belonging hold by another process which in turn in waiting for the first process to release the resources. Move to the another question. Another question is, what is the difference between livelock and deadlock in a Java? A livelock is similar to the deadlock except that the state of the threads are processes involved in the livelock constantly change with a regard to one another without any one processing further. Livelock is the special case of resource starvation. A real world example of livelock occurs when two people meet in a narrow corridor and each try to be pilot by moving aside to let the other pass, but they end up saying from side to side without making any process because they both respectively move the same way at the same time. In short, the main difference between livelock and deadlock is that is a formal state of process change but no process in made. Another question is, how do you check if a thread hold a lock or not? I didn't even know that you can check if a thread already hold block before this question hit me in a telephonic round of the Java interview question. There is a method called hold lock method on java.long. The thread it return true if and only if the current thread hold the monitor lock on the specific object. That's it. Another question is, what is the difference between synchronized and ReentrantLock in a Java? There were days when the only way to provide mutual exclusion in a Java was view synchronized keywords, but it has several shortcomings. For example, you cannot extend lock beyond a method or block boundary. You cannot give up trying for a lock. It is for Java 5 solve this problem by providing more sophisticated control view lock interface. ReentrantLock is a common implementation of lock interface and provide intended mutual exclusion lock with the same basis behavior and semantics as the implicit monitor lock exit using synchronized method and statement but with the extended capabilities. And learn more about this capability, more difference between synchronized and retransition in the Java. Move to the another question. Another question is, there are three threads T1, T2 and T3. How do you ensure sequence T1, T2, T3 in the Java? Sequentially in the multi-threading can be achieved by different means, but you can simply use the join method for thread clause to start a thread when another one has finished its execution. To ensure three threads execute, you need to start the last one figure, for example T3, and then call join method in a reserve order. For example, T3 call T2 join and T2 call T1 dot join. The way T1 will finish first and T3 will finish last. That's it. Okay, move to the another question is, what does add method of thread class do? Add method is one way to request current thread is reline queue CPU so that other thread can get a chance to execute. It is a static method and only guarantees that current thread will re-invoke the CPU, but doesn't say anything about which other thread will get CPU. It is possible for the same thread to get CPU back and start its execution again. Move to the another question. Another question is, what is the concurrency level of concurrent hash map in a Java? Concurrency hash map achieve its accessibility and thread safety by partitioning actual map into a number of sections. This partition is achieved using concurrency label. Its optional parameter of concurrent hash map constructor and it is default value in 16. The table is internally partitioned to try to permit the indicate number of concurrent update without condition to learn about the concurrency resizing method. Concurrency to the resizing method. Another question is what is a semaphore in a Java? Semaphore in a Java is a new kind of synchronizer. It is a counting semaphore. Conceptually, a semaphore maintains a set of permit each a SQL method block if necessary until a permit is available, and they take it each release add a permit potentially realizing a locking acquire. However, show actual permit objects are used. The semaphore just keep account of the number available and act actual accordingly. Semaphore is used to protect an expensive resource which is available in a fixed number. For example, database connection in the pool. Move to the another question is what happens if you submit a task when the queue of the thread pool it is already filled. Many programmers will think that it will be blocked until a thread is cleared, but it is true. The thread pool execute a submit method throw rejection execution exception if your task cannot be scheduled for execution. Executions, very most important question. Another question is what is the difference between submit method and the execute method thread pool in a Java? Both methods are way to submit a task to thread pool, but there is a slight difference between them. Execute runnable command is defined in executor interface and execute given task in future, but more important, it does not return anything. Its return type is void. On other hand, submit method is an overloaded method. It can take either runnable or cronable task and can return. On other hand, submit method is an overloaded method. It can be either runnable or cronable task and can be return future object which can hold to pending result of computation. This method is defined our executor service interface, which extend executor interface and even every other thread pool class. For example, thread pool executor or scheduler thread pool executor get the method. Move to another question is what is blocking method in a Java? A blocking method is a method which block till the task is done. For example, accept method of the several socket block until a client is connected. Here, blocking means control will not return to the caller until the task is finished. On the other hand, there is an asynchronized or non-blocking method which return even before the task is finished. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe and share this video on your friend. Thank you so much.